only going to sing this song 6 times, and then you should be done. Deal? Okay, can I have 3 teachers to come up and help me pass these out to each group? Ten, 9, 8, 7, find your group. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raise your hand if you need a group. Teachers, help the groups. Does everyone have an envelope? That's the pianist's job. I know that my Redeemer lives. Don't sing. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to
Where's the top? Is the top anywhere?
Do you need an envelope? He lives.
Oh yeah, here we go.
He lives to bless in time of need. Do you need me to sing it again? Yes. I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to plead for me above. He lives, my hungry soul to feed. He lives to bless in time. I know that
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
just sings what if you haven't seen what the sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to plead for me above. He lives, my hungry soul to feed. He lives to bless in time of need. Your words are on the ground already. I'll sing all the rest. You only sing the words that are in front of you. Ready? I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to plead for me above. He lives, my hungry soul to feed. He lives to bless in time of need. You guys are so much better than me. This is back to the envelope. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Here, take one of ours. Oh.
Give your envelopes back to your teachers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do you want this one turn around too or no? Sorry.
Here's the pattern.
Thanks. I'd rather you.
You use your hands,
Thanks.
pretend to
Great.
have big kids. shop right here. Ready? Our Father has some words for you, and these are words we do. Free. Switch to the other one. At work or at home, in darkness or night, be true, and stand for the right. Who wants to be one? Who wants to be two? Ready? Raise your hands if you're one. Raise your hands if you're two. 1, 2. Ready? Do this. Our Father has some words for you, and these are the words we do. At work or at play, in darkness or night, be true, and stand for the right. Yes. You feel the vigor that's in your arms right now? It usually takes that much blood to stand for the right. Stand up and stomp as you're doing it. If you're a 1, change to 2. If you're a 2, change to 1. Ready? Our Father has some words for you, and these are the words we do. At work or at play, in darkness or night, we do. Stand for the right. What are you going to stand for? Right. Stand for the right. Would you clap for yourself? 10, 9, 8. Give these back to your teachers. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, how many songs did we sing? 3. We experienced 3 different songs. Yeah. Were they the same songs as last sharing time? Yes. What? No way. Yeah, they were the same songs. Were the activities different? Yes. Definitely different. What else did you see? What else did you notice about this particular singing time? What did you see? What did you notice? Yes, and then yes. You could fit both of them. Actually, you couldn't. I don't know if you realize you were singing for 22 minutes. Just that one. It goes fast. I know. The teachers are like, what? It's time for class? Okay. Yes.
You let them decide which part they were going to do instead of assigning it out.
Yes. But I wanted them all to be involved. Yes. What else did you see? What else did you notice?
Crossing the midline.
Crossing the midline. What in the world is a midline? So take your hands and go like this. You have 2 sides of the brain, and that's about what the size of it is. Right in the middle is a thing called the midline, and it crosses like this. The corpus callosum is inside, kind of in there, and it has to talk to each side of the brain. And so when you cross the midline in any way, it has to talk to each other. One of the things that they're finding is that the children who are best at keeping a steady beat, with their body, not just moving, keeping a steady beat, have the most organized brains. Wow. So if they don't have a steady beat, they probably need some more help with their corpus callosum and using those hands. Did you realize that this hand is run by this side of the brain, and this hand is run by this side of the brain, so when you use them both, you're engaging both parts of the brain, and both of them are engaged in what you're doing and everything else that's going on outside of them, like the words. What? Yeah. They will pick up the word, and I call it through the back door. Because when the brains are engaged like that, and you're involved and you're invigorated, the brain picks up way more than you need. In fact, it probably knows the color of the floor, and you didn't even concentrate on it, because it picks it up because it's engaged. What else did you see? What else did you notice?
You use lots of partners.
Lots of partners. Is that a younger primary thing? Say no. Right. Piaget, long time ago, a psychologist did a study of the children and how they play in the stages of play. The stage of play where they play together doesn't really happen to age 6 or 7. And what's the oldest age in your younger primary? Oh, 7. Oh, don't have them work together. But how in the world are you going to do something like this envelope game with younger primary?
No.
They can't do that. What do? You can do pictures, or you can do this. Ready? Can your hands follow my hands? Sentence. 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 Oh, you're doing really well at it. Bless. Thumbs up here. Bless. Thumbs up here. Bless. Ready? Hungry. Oh, I'm so hungry. Make your hand like this. Hungry. Take your hand in like a crook. Need. I need something. Will your hands follow my hands? I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to plead for me above. He lives, my hungry soul to feed. He lives to bless in time of need. Is anybody ready to come up and help me do this? Oh, not yet? You need it one more time? Okay, ready? I assure you, I will get a 4-year-old that will come up and say, yes. I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. He lives to bless me with his love. He lives to plead for me above. He lives, my hungry soul to feed. He lives to bless in time of need. Don't sing. Can't think when I'm crying. Thank you for singing with me. What's the research behind that? A 2, 3, 4-year-old learns from gestures and context. So if you're singing and you're doing a gesture that has some kind of context for him, that's a fantastic way to teach them. It's a fantastic way for a Spanish-speaking child to learn an English word. It's a fantastic way for an English-speaking child to learn some Spanish words, or German, or whatever it is that you have in your area. In my area, we speak probably 17 languages. There are very few English. So you have to do gestures, and it works for younger children in an amazing way. What did you feel and see as you were doing that particular thing? Yes?
We did Love One Another last week, just signs and no singing, kind of like that. And I felt the spirit so strong. I just feel like we live in such a busy, loud world. Just to have silence just for a second and still be thinking about the words. It was
And
very,
still be thinking about the words because you have to do them. Yes, yes.
I felt empathy for the sister in our ward who is deaf and may not hear.
Yes, yes. And not all of these signs are signs from ASL. And if you know, ASL is different. There's American, there's Canadian, there's German. They're all different signs, but gestures work for everybody. Thank you. Yes.
My testimony grew more. Like, I was crying with you. Like,
Because he does live. Yes. Yes. So that's one way to take it down to a younger primary. Yes.
I also just like that we just did a few signs, so so it wasn't.
I only taught you a few, and then you had to follow me. So I gave you what was coming, and then you had to follow me for the rest. Yes. Okay. Is there anything that you have noticed? Yes. And then yes.
Would you use the piano? Would you have like the piano play the words while the children and you were just signing?
I would have only the melody, because the harmony lodges in a different place, And so it confuses some of the children, so the melody would be great, yes. Or you're just silent, thank you. There was another, yes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So you are well versed and you have done this for a long time. So I'm going to pretend I know nothing and I'm watching you today and I'm taking everything in. How, do I go home and practice in front of a mirror? Do I, because it's wonderful and beautiful and I go, but what do I do when I get in front of the kids? Because that's a lot and what if I mess up? And how do I get comfortable with doing what I need to do?
So, do you ever drive anywhere? Practice primary. You will get some strange looks, but you'll do well in front of the kids. Yes, do it in front of the mirror. I practice probably 4 to 5 hours, but I don't plan for that long. I just practice so that I'm doing it right. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yes, and then yes.
If we have a combined senior and junior primary,
Senior, how many kids are in your primary?
about 30. Well, I try.
If possible, if you have the critical mass of 6 to 8 children, it's better to split them because they learn so differently. But if not, you have to engage a helper because they learn so differently. Have the younger children, okay, you're over here, be doing the sign language with me. You're over here, you're putting together the thing. You have to do both of them, or else you're not meeting the needs.
So you think if you have 6 to 8, you divide?
The research shows 6 to 8 is the critical mass that you have to have for a group. But it's harder on the teachers, it's harder on the primary presidency, it's harder on a lot of things, but it's much better for them developmentally. I'm not trying to speak heresy here, I'm just trying to give the research. So, yes, and then yes, and then yes.
I just had a question, especially with those older kids, but even the ones that won't engage, that attitude, they're like, I'm not doing that. Yeah.
I think he's old enough that I can use, no, I won't use his name. For 2 years in my primary, we would pass everything out to him and he would sit there and just watch me like this. 2 years. And then he came up to my youth choir and he was, oh, what happened? It's just that they have to decide. It's called agency. And you have to give it something that's super, super engaging and puzzling and hard for them, but they still have to decide. Thank you for asking that great question. Yes, yes.
And I have found that sometimes a kid isn't comfortable doing something hard for them, and so they choose to remove themselves rather than fail at the hard. And that's okay.
Exactly.
They get to make that choice, and that's
Exactly.
totally fine with it.
And the great thing about it is, they chose, and all around them people are doing it and singing it, and they're seeing it. The song just sneaks in the back door. Yes.
So to answer the practicing question, or to give an idea, I have 2 kids at home that were in my primary, and I would sing to them at night with like the lights off, like that was our bedtime routine, and I would watch their videos during the day, and they would watch with me, or just watch ideas or things during the day. And then, yeah, super fan. And then at night I would do them in the dark, trying to remember, and my kids would be doing them in bed, like it was crazy. But that was a way for me to learn the words of the songs, as well as remembering what I'm supposed to do. So practicing at night and singing to my kids, like involving them.
So sing in the dark.
Singing in the dark.
One of the things that happens is that you cannot give something to someone that you don't have. It's so hard for me when I go into a primary and the primary leader says, I'm going to sing you one line and then you sing it back. And he doesn't look at the children. I'm sorry, you can tell it was a he. and he sings it to them and then he can't figure out why they're not singing it back, but he is not giving them something he has. You have to take it in. Does that make sense? Yes.
I have teenagers at home, so I practice in front of my teenagers, and if you look goofy, teenagers will tell you if something is off. So my teenagers would be like, Mom, that was not smooth. And I'm like, okay, we'll work on that transition.
Yes.
So because there's a lot of songs that I don't know, but we use, and so I guess that goes back to just practicing so that I know it, so that I don't have to, because I have my primary book there with me, because I want to make sure I'm teaching the right words and not saying the wrong words.
So how many pianists are in here? Those are your helpers.
Okay.
They're looking at the words. And you look at
songs every single Sunday, or am I teaching the same 3 songs every Sunday? And we'll learn out learn the research about that. It comes from a huge study that was done at the University of Washington. Why you teach 3 songs? Yes.
On the church's website, there's great resources. They have a whole media library where you can actually sit and click the hymn or the song, and it will play just the vocals, or they will play the accompaniment with the vocals, so you can practice. I'm actually a choir director, and that's how I practice, how I lead the music. I find a recording, and I practice it. Some of those are tricky.
They're
Even
tricky.
for choir directors who've been leading for years.
Like this one.
Yeah.
Right?
So go
I still don't
online,
think I
find
sang
a
it to you
resource,
right.
and practice with it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. As you drive. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Will you talk a little bit about words? I think like in the church we have a culture of like we need to have the words up on the board, the teachers need to see the words, the kids need to see the words, and it's really hard for people to break away from like seeing the words. So I'd love your thoughts on all that.
If you don't sing as most people.
We're riding in a boat, and the boat is made up of beat and rhythm and melody, and that's what makes singing different from speaking. Oh, and the words ride in the boat. Oh, the words can't come until you've got the boat first. Is that saying too much, too little? You need to focus on the beat. You need to focus on the rhythm. You need to focus on the melody. The children need to hear. You're gonna not like this statistic. I'm so sorry. It's a good statistic, but you're not gonna like it. 2-year-olds need to hear a song, not sing it, hear a song 200 to 100 times before they can take it in and make it their own. A 3-year-old is only a year older. They need to hear it about 50 times before they can take it in. It doesn't get much lower than 25. Your children need to hear those songs 25 times. They will try to sing along with it, but it's not deep within them. They haven't built the boat yet. They need to get the beat, the rhythm, the melody. They need to focus on it. They need to have all of those things going on. Oh, and yeah, the words. Oh yeah, do you notice I never ask you to sing? And sometimes I ask you not to sing, because you're singing. But I want you to hear the song again and again while you're focusing on the beat, while you're focusing on the rhythm, while you're focusing on what's up here visually. Because it needs to go into the brain and create the boat for the words. Does that help?
Yes, and like I know that we were talking together, like, do you ever feel, because she's my pianist, and she said, do you ever feel like the kids are more distracted by the activity? I'm like, well, that they're more focused, I guess I should say. Yes, I feel like they're more focused, but the way I understand it is just that you put that in place, and then the words will come later. It's the repetition over and over. Is that?
Yes. In his book, John Medina, Brain Rules, he's one of the neuroscientists that has done a lot of research. In his book, he talks about, is it him or is it
What's his name?
John Medina, Brain Rules, and the other one is Carla Hannaford, Why Learning is Not All, Smart Moves, Why Learning is Not All in Your Head. Was Carla Hannaford. She gave a lecture for a semester, and one of the ladies sat in the back and knitted sweaters the whole time. She didn't take any notes. She was one of the highest grades in the class because she's engaging both sides of the brain and taking in everything that happened. She's an oral learner, granted, we'll talk about different types of learning, but she engaged both sides of the brain and didn't have to write down the words or repeat the words because she's engaged the brain. So, yes, they're focused on the beat. And you think, they're not singing, but they're not singing. They're not supposed to sing until they heard it 25 times. Oh, okay, I'm not trying to speak heresy, really. I'm just telling you the research, and you can take it however you want it. Okay, yes.
Okay, so when my kids were young, because I now have teenagers, I actually have the primary CD in my car, and that's what we listen to and from church. I actually listen to choir, and my kids who are adults now sing along with them now, even like 10 years later.
Okay,
so they're listening to it on the way and back and forth as you're riding in the car.
And I don't know if you're old enough, but if I said plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. That hasn't been done for 25 years. Music lodges. In fact, now might be a good time to tell you the research that's been done. PET, positive emission transmission, when you have a stroke, they will put nuclear medicine inside you to see what parts of the brain have died. They will ask you to do various tasks, and if it lights up, that brain is still alive. When you walk, it lights up. When you read, it lights up. When you do something else like that. When you sing, it lights up in 5 different places on both sides of the brain. That's why Alzheimer's units cannot even know who their husband is and sing a Christmas song with you. Because there's still something alive in the part. I'm a little passionate, I should calm down. So music is different and it needs a different treatment. Is that wrong? Okay, there's a thing here and a thing over there and a thing here, okay.
So I'm thinking about the teachers who know the words. Do they emulate what the children are supposed to be doing, or do they sing with?
How many of your teachers sing with you? 2. Yeah. In some, people from all over the world ask me questions, and one of the ones is, how do I get my teachers to put their cell phones down? So you are very lucky. Just have them sing. But if not, put them on the teacher's chair and make them work. Yes?
So with this in mind, that they need to repeat and repeat the songs and listen so many times, I mean,
While being engaged.
While being engaged,
Yeah.
okay? So we go through, we have 1 month, like we have 3 to 4, 5 weeks very rarely to do a song. I mean, we move on each month or no? Like, how would you recommend that?
I didn't pay her. How do you divide 21 minutes into 3? Well, it just so happens that one of the research that's been done, you're gonna get so tired of saying that, is that adults have an attention span that needs a change of pace and a change of emotion every 10 minutes. Children need that change of pace every 6 to 7 minutes. And so, you should teach 3 songs every Sunday. So, if you have 3 songs to teach in the month, you teach those 3 songs all month long. The other research is that, it's not research, it's catching up to scripture. Line upon line, precept on precept. Learn a little bit, sleep on it. Learn a little bit more, sleep on it. And that doesn't mean learn one line, that means hear the whole song, kind of figure out the rhythm and the music and the beat, and the brain is putting everything together while you sleep, and then come back to it, come back to it, come back to it. Some people will say, oh, I'm not going to teach I Am a Child of God, all my kids know it. I'm not going to teach this song, all my kids know it. But they have to. Life is going to be so hard when the prophet tells us, if you don't have your own testimony, you will not stand. Please get a testimony. He knows what's coming. So we need them to have all these different experiences and hooks into these truths of these songs so that the songs can sing to them when they're down at the bottom of a well and they can't get the child out. I don't know if you remember that, it was in the 60s. She's saying over and over again to herself to comfort herself the truths of the gospel. So yes, teach the songs and do it a little at a time. Okay, I lost my soapbox. Where were the hands? Sorry. There were, yes. Yes.
So if the primary president had complaints about
Primary president has complaints about using manipulatives.
and has talked to the previous, because I'm the new singing 10 leader. How do I move forward with that, or what do I do or say, or?
She's a believer in words and pictures.
I'll send
She
you this
believes in
video.
words and pictures. Words and pictures.
I'll send her this video.
Two hands, body move. What about body movement?
Elder Bednar said in a recent conference, if you do not believe in change, don't join this church. I don't know if I say that to her face. But there are better ways to teach children. Yes.
My primary president is very proactive on reverence, and it is hard to teach that reverence can be joyous and loud and also reverence.
You could do
But
it
then
as
stopping and saying, do you feel the spirit? Could be reverence, you know, and so
Right.
I just keep doing it.
Okay, I guess it's time for a personal experience. This was 30 years ago when I was teaching in a town called Gilroy, California. Our primary president said, "You will not teach the way you are teaching. It is not okay to teach like that. You will teach differently." And I said, "Can you give me 2 weeks, maybe 3, and just see what the children do? Just let me try." And so after 3 weeks, she didn't say anything to me. And in 2.5 months, she moved away. Met each other in the grocery store. "So glad to see you. You need to come and teach our primary. It's just so boring." because if you are giving your testimony with every single song like you saw here today, there is no way that the Spirit doesn't fill the room to testify because it's His children. And anyway, so I'm so sorry. You guys are really asking questions.
We've all been set apart. So we have a stewardship, same as she has a stewardship over the whole primary. Our stewardship is the music and what we need to do with that. And it could be approached that way. I went from being Relief Society president to being music leader. I still feel like I have the same priesthood authority, if you would, because it is my stewardship to figure out how to teach the kids in my primary.
Yes, and the Holy Ghost cannot testify in a room where there's contentions. So you gotta work with that too. Doesn't He give us so many chances to be unified? He's good at that. Heavenly Father gives us those, yes.
So to
And
go
then
back
yes.
to this and to her question, the 21 divided by 3. So either as they're coming in, you would sing a song
Yep.
you've done the past 3. So that's the first question. The second question is, so after you've taught a song like 3 weeks in a row or something, like let's just say this, like as you're singing it in the future, do you go back to one of those things? Because like the kids, they like the I will, or I won't. Do you know what I mean? Because, well, I guess my
What's
question
the
is
answer?
this.
What's the answer
Well,
to that question?
I don't know, because in my brain, I think if you're doing the same motions for the same song every time, that they'll be stuck. But if you're teaching it 3 weeks
In a different way.
But what do you do moving forward? Because you're not just standing there when you're reviewing a song that you've learned 3 weeks in a row, right? So what do you pick, or
So
what do
here's the
you
principle.
settle on?
You really don't want the kids to be going, I will, in the primary.
Well, sure, but in primary it's fine.
Right, it is. And if they love it and they engage with it, yes, use it again. So the answer is yes on both of them. Here's one way to review that doesn't take that. When these are, the things I found, oh my goodness, I'm okay, it's all right. When this is closed, you sing inside. When it's open, you sing out loud, okay? Stand for the right. Our prophet has, and these are the words that play. Be true, the right. It works much better with a pot, where you take off the lid. It's called take it in, take it out. Okay. So there's other ways to review that you don't even have to use the same things you've done. Create hooks in their brain for those particular songs. Okay, there was you had a hand for so many times. I'm so sorry.
So we have some kids in our primary that have some learning difficulties.
Yes.
And we have had some meltdowns because sometimes when we're trying to use some of the manipulatives, they get really frustrated.
Yes.
How can we help continue to engage the rest of the primary that are succeeding with that, while also not disadvantaging those kids?
Primary presidents, please stand up. When Moroni had the weakest parts and he knew there was not as much strength in those cities, what did he do? He sent in the primary president. No, he sent in more men. And so your primary president needs to sit. Your counselor needs to sit. They're right there with them. They want them to succeed, just like Heavenly Father wants them to. So they need to be there with them. Thank you so much, presidents. The other thing about it is that if you have a Tourette's kid, it's different than having autistic kid, which is different than having a child with OCD, which is different than it. So you need to know what their particular thing is. If they are Tourette's, this will drive them crazy. You say, I don't think he'd mind if I use his name, Brandon. He goes, thank you, and he heads out the door because he knows it's going to be loud and he can't take it because he can hear so much and so loud. But if it's autistic and he needs a routine, then you say, here's what we're doing. We'll do these 3 things. And you give him your plan with all of your colored markers and on it. And then at the end, you have to say, is this your dance? Time to wrap it up. True story, true story. Yes.
Okay, I've been using her method for a while, so let me tell you some things that I learned right out of the gate. One, the kids are when you do it this way with 3 songs per class, they leave hungry. They come back the next week and they're like, oh, we gotta do that again. And they beg me as they walk out the door, can we do that again? Can we do that again? And sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes I completely change it like she does, and they come back and they're like, oh, what are we doing today? They are so excited to do it, but you will walk out feeling like, I need like 10 more minutes. Because we feel like we want to complete something, right? Like, I want to finish this phrase, or I want to do all of this. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Do these little snippets, and they will come back very, very hungry. Number 2, the other thing, she mentioned this a little bit, but your teachers will dial in real fast, and they will love what you're doing. They will feel a little bit rushed too, but you're like teaching on their brain level, on the kids' brain level. You're not teaching the teachers. We're there teaching the kids, right? So get down on the kids' level and teach at their speed, and your teachers will come along because they'll see that happening. And then you talked about like some of the special needs kids. You'll be surprised at how many will jump in who maybe are a little anxious about things or whatever, and they will jump in and try. Okay, and then the last thing you said, yes, and maybe you didn't notice this, but in some of the songs she messed up, did she not? And what did she say? She's like, oh, no big deal. That's modeling for them too. So the kids see when she messes up, and they're like, oh, it's okay I said the wrong word. Shoot, like, let's do that. Oh, what did you got it right. Thank you. So if you model that messing up for the kids, huge. So don't feel like you have to be perfect either. I mess up all the time. She messed up for us, and she just goes. And the kids they'll go with you and go, oh yeah, it's okay for me to mess up too. So there you go. There's the test. Yes.
Just to tag on to that, I can't remember what the song was, but I had practiced and practiced and practiced till I was blue in the face. And then I get up in front of them, and this first time through, I totally blow the words. Here's this little 4-year-old girl, the daughter of the pianist, who's been listening to this music all week long, week after week, and she says the right words, and I just turned to her and said, oh, sweetheart, thank you for saying the right thing. Sister Christensen totally messed up. But my question was, if you're doing, this is the thing I'm struggling with. If I'm doing the 3 songs that are part of my required things for the month, how do I fit in the reviews of past songs that we've done?
The reviews can be 1 minute long, 2 minutes long.
So do I need to do some kind of an activity with it? Or
Sometimes, like you can do the pot. You can do Hoberman ball. Does anybody know what Hoberman ball? He's invented it. It goes, and you use it for dynamics. You can use that. You can use a short kind of thing. Thank you. So.
Can I say, I use them for opening songs.
Yeah.
So they always want us to do an opening song, and that's just quick. It's 1 minute. Yeah. So you can do it for that.
You're not supposed to do opening songs anymore.
I don't know why they have me do that.
But you can sing while they're coming inside.
Okay.
That's what I want. Yes. Over the hand. Yes.
So my last week, this last week, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing to do. As the kids were coming in, the prelude and postlude, I just sang one song, the same song for both weeks, because I didn't get to it in March. And so that's all I did is just sing it. Is that?
How many times does a child need to hear a song?
Well, you said
25
at least.
Yeah. So yes, please sing it.
So even though we're not doing any activity with it, just singing,
yes.
singing.
Can I? Okay. Yes and yes and yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And some of the one of my really good friends is a composer right now who puts out YouTube videos, and a lot of people sing her songs. When you have a song that is more than 4 phrases long, it's too big for a younger primary. When you have it more than 8 phrases long, it's too big for a senior primary. And most of the songs that are coming out now, they're being composed, are too big. And they take 2 to 3 months to teach, really to teach. So if you were going to teach that kind of song, recognize you've got to put it into your rotation much more. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Where were the hands, please?
So I'm guessing you only do first verses.
Many times. I happen to have a primary of 9, 10-year-old boys, 3 sets of twins. And they love a challenge, and so I have to move on to the second verse for them, but I don't ever do it with my younger children. Thank you for asking. Okay, I'm missing so many hands. Yes.
So mine is in relation to that. So like if we're singing the miracle, is it like maybe 3 weeks on the first verse, 3 weeks on the second, and 3 weeks later on the third?
How long is the miracle? How many phrases is it?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what a phrase is.
I know my Savior lives and loves me too.
It's
The
a lot of
Spirit
phrases.
whispers this to me and tells me it is true and tells me it is true.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Okay.
So it's sentences.
Okay.
The miracle's pretty long.
Yeah. So like, but I mean like when you do more than 1 verse is what I'm saying though. If you're gonna learn 3 verses.
Boy, you guys are really going for it. Okay.
Sorry, I just.
No, it's good. So, how many of you ever mix up a verse of a hymn? Because you probably learn both verses together. They don't have separate places in your brain, and they don't have separate rhythms in your brain for the words. I always separate verses by about 2 to 3 weeks. So I teach 1 verse, I leave it alone, and then I teach a second verse. It goes a little faster. They already have the bow to the melody, they already have the bow to the beat, but they don't have the rhythm because the words are different. So, thank you. Okay. What hands did I miss? I know I missed you. I'm sorry. Yes.
I was gonna say, I know we've already hashed it, but it is my biggest struggle to implement this style, and it's back to words. Am I the only one? I really need the words to learn a song. I've listened to things 5,000 times. Even look at my daughter's iPod. I've listened to it 5,000 times while walking. I don't know the words to these songs, and I can't believe it. Until I see the words in front of me and sit and actually memorize them, I don't learn them. And so I think that's been my struggle. Please help me with this.
Can I answer your question?
Yes. And
ASL, do sign language while you're singing it. You will learn it.
Oh,
Like I think you need to be taught like them, you know?
Sign
It needs
language
to be
while you learn
moving
it.
at the same time.
And there is a learning thing that is all about words. And the brain works best in some people with words. And so Larissa is 10 at this time. Her mother is the primary president and calls me and says, my daughter came home sobbing because she can't learn that song you're doing. Feliz cumpleaños, that's how they say it in Spain. She couldn't learn it. So I put the words up out of order, and then she came home and sang the whole song. She already knew the beat, she already knew the rhythm, she already had the melody, but she needed to see the words. So yes, there are children that need to see the words. Younger children don't need to see the words, but they need to have gestures. Yes?
Just a small answer to that. I'm an actor and I teach actors and I teach acting, so it's all about memorizing words. For some people, if their brain catalogs by word rather than maybe picture or concept, which some of us do, it is amazing. Even for me, when if I'm struggling, because I super struggle with songs, and learning all of the words. So I mess up all the time, and we all think it's funny. In primary, we chuckle, and that's good. But for me, I take the words, and then I just start to cover some of them. And that's how I have to learn it. If I just listen, I will never get it. I'll hear the tune, but I just won't. So for me, it's really about, because my brain catalogs and remembers in words, so if they start to get covered, that is the only way that I get them.
I have a huge file of posters that have words missing, and then they have to put the words in the right order. But that's the thing. If you just put the words up or you just have the hymn book, your brain is not engaged. It is not intrigued. It reads it and it goes, yeah, okay. But if you have to put it in order, but if you have to fill it in, your brain goes and does it. Does that help at all?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, yes. Yes,
One
yes.
of the things that I like to do with that is, we just went.
It'll come back. Go ahead,
Is,
and come back.
is it okay to have the words on the board behind me, but I don't really refer to them, they're just there to reference if other people want them or need them, or no?
Good idea.
I have the words at the back of the room if I'm struggling with it. They changed the song, genealogy, I'm doing it, and I cannot get the new words down. So that's in the back of the room for me. But I make my children learn it all different ways. I'll just turn it on right now. Because there are different ways that the brain takes in information. And if you don't use all of these different ways, it doesn't matter how much you have the words written down. So, no. Okay. Yes? Any other questions? Because, okay, yes and yes. Yes.
Super fast follow-up about your primary president is not on board because she wants reverence. So I was a piano player for the previous one and for our current one. And the previous one was very old school, drawing sticks, rolling the dice, words, lots of words, posters with words. Okay, you get it. And then now we have a new fabulous one. She is very much, she's the one who's like, we gotta go today. She knew. Anyway, the reverence in our primary has never been better because they are engaged. So take that to.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
The reverence has never been better because they are totally engaged. And it's 3 songs, and it's exactly what you're doing here. And I've seen both. I was in there for both. And the other one loves to explain her testimony in a paragraph, and our new one does it in 2 sentences, and the spirit has never been stronger.
I weep when I see a leader sharing her testimony from her soul, and the child is standing on his head on the chair. Because they're not taking it in, but there are things they can do, and we're going to talk about that. Yes, and then we're going to take a break.
When I was learning a new song for words, like you put it on the back of the page, I would just print up the verse I needed, and I would color code the words that I wanted to point out, and I'd have it on my music stand.
Okay.
In like 20 fonts, so I didn't have to like squint to read it. I could see
72
it.
is better.
I could see it in the front of the class. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what it was, and to remind me of what the song was. So that's what I would prep.
And literally, you have a team. You have 2 counselors and a president and a pianist and a secretary. You tell them what you need. I need help with words. I need help with this boy. I need help with this child. We have a Down syndrome child that runs wild. There's no discipline at home. And I found if I don't put things in bags, they are all over the primary room. So we got one person that's on that child, and I put him in a bag, and I say, it's in a bag, and she'll go, oh, I'm walk away from it. So we're gonna take a break. There's so much more to do. Okay.